I'm Ryan Milton from Team Flex, and today we're going to be breaking down the Pittsburgh Natural Pro Qualifier. We're going to look at fit model division. We're going to talk about those placings, why they landed the way they did, look at all the class winners, pro card winners, and give you a really in-depth, good insight into what is going on right now in fit model division. If you are trying to, compete, get your pro card, figure this new division out, or maybe you're just watching from the sideline because it's so entertaining to see a brand new women's division, well, that's what this video is for. All right, so dive in with me, hang out, subscribe if you're new here. We got a lot more coming. Okay, so we have Class A winner here, Catherine, Class B winner here, Emily, and Class C winner here, Daniella. Now, Emily actually wins the overall here for Fit Model, and Daniella wins her pro card as well. So two pro card winners at this event, and in this lineup, there was a pro card winner for Masters 35 as well, but this is the open pro card winners from this event here. So pretty cool to look at. Now let's start with Emily, okay? Since she won the overall, she won, her pro card, everything there. If you've been paying attention to Emily's journey, she was at, many of these competitions, been stacking overall wins. She was at the first one and everything else. So really, we've seen her form, her shape kind of refine over time, and now she's an IFBB pro. So what we can look at, good shoulder shape here. This is exactly where this division should be. We don't want to see, tons of delts, big shoulders, things like that. She's got that good shoulder shape, which is that fullness up top. Lets the judges know, yeah, you do train, you are lifting. It might be fit model, but it doesn't mean that we're not lifting the shoulders, okay? The upper body, you still want to have that development, that shape, everything there. As we know, fit model division is a throwback to, bikini that was around about 10 years ago. Everybody used to look just like this, at that time. Now, this is what we're seeing, right? So fit model division playing out on these stages everywhere, and it's just getting better and better as it goes. A little bit of that shoulder shape overall, dramatic taper into the waist. You want to really note this, okay? And this is being noted really across every fit model comp that I've reviewed. The more dramatic of a taper you can get, tight waist, shoulders pulling through up top, that is an advantage, and that's pretty much in every women's division, but especially in fit model right now. As it continues to play out, shape out, we are seeing that tiny waist, that narrow waist effect, really just becoming more and more important. So really make sure you're bringing that through if you want to compete in this division, okay? Looking down a little bit lower body wise, really in this front pose, all that we're going to be able to focus on is quads. So fit model, has been going through a train of like ups and downs, leaner looks, softer looks, bigger looks, not bigger looks, right? We've seen that playing out across the board. What I've seen fit model doing recently, and this event really exemplifies that, lower body needs to be very full. You want to have a lot of muscle development, a lot of fullness. We're starting to see a lot more development in those quads and that fullness that you just need to bring. Otherwise, it's not going to score as well for you here. So Emily really does have that to a very good degree, a very dominant look in the lower body, but it matches up top, and that's key. Narrow waist effect for sure dials it all in, okay? Now, if we look at the rest, conditioning-wise, fit model division, it is softer than bikini, okay? So that is what we're seeing here as well. Very soft lines in the midsection, maybe some in the oblique here. Nothing really going on in the lower body. Maybe some slight separations up in the shoulders. That's exactly what we should see. So, obviously this is very on par look for Emily here. She comes in, she takes the win, takes the overall, gets her pro card. Now let's take a look at some other class winners here. So Catherine wins Class A, and we're going to see a lot of similarities, but also some clear differences that we'll note here as well. So if we are looking at this, she's got pretty comparable shoulder shape, not overdone. If you do not want huge delts, fit model division is the place for you to go, right? When I'm training fit model competitors, a lot of them have switched from bikini into fit model, and first thing I'm doing, I'm dumbing down the shoulder work, okay? Because you just do not need massive delts. You don't want to focus on that, right? And you want to have good shape, good size, but not overdoing it. So she's got that, and another thing that's really good for fit model, you'll notice bicep, tricep do not distract. They do not deter from anything. It's not pulling away, right, from what's going on with the rest of the physique or the shoulder development for that matter. And some other women's divisions, very easy to see that. You start to see that a lot where, the bicep, tricep can be so dominant. that it kind of takes away from the shoulders in a sense, right? We don't want that. We don't want to see that. It's not what you're looking for in fit model, okay? Waist taper is good here. Everything is good there. Lower body wise, you know, she's got that muscle, that shape. Sometimes you can see a little bit of glute from the front depending on how these fit model athletes are posing, but again, not the primary focus. What we're really looking at is the lower body, that development into the quads, symmetry there to match up top. So she's got a really good look. A tad leaner, just a tad leaner than Emily, right? We can see a little bit more splits and stuff going on in the quads here, maybe a little bit more in the abs, not too much, very on par right there, you know, no doubt, good example of fit model division, but she is just a tad leaner, and you'll notice her lower body is not as full. So Emily's lower body definitely holding a bit more fullness here, a softer look in the lower body than over here. And again, I've been seeing that kind of being favored on stages with my fit model athletes right now. Athletes, I am definitely trying to bring in, you know, the quad fullness and everything else, because that is what judges are really looking for, okay? Let's take a look over at Daniella now. So Daniella also is Class C's winner. She also won her pro card here as well. So Daniella has, you know, a little bit of a different look, but it's all the same things. You might be able to look at it and say, what's, you know, that looks pretty different compared to Emily, but that is also how fit model rolls. You know, we're going to have a different look for each type of competitor, each person on stage. The way it's going to map out, it's going to be a little bit different, right? So for Daniella, she's got a little bit more shoulders, right? A little bit more fullness up top than maybe Emily does, but still works well on her physique because, again, very dramatic waist taper here. Really brings in the waist a lot, and I swear, in every women's division, but especially fit model, the more dramatic you can get that tapered look to happen, the better you're going to do on these stages. I promise you, okay? It's just what is being rewarded so heavily right now. The very narrow, tight waist and then the shoulders that really bring out the upper body to create that shape. Now, lower body-wise, she is very symmetrical. Very, very symmetrical, right? So we can see, you know, a little bit of glute here, a little bit of quad going on. All of that matches very well with her upper body. So totally nails this look. Really, really streamlined for fit model division. Her condition is right on point where we can see, you know, again, soft lines in the quads, a little bit maybe in the oblique, but nothing too crazy, nothing too much. Nothing is starting to look like bikini or any of these other divisions. So she really does pull off that look very, very well. And this is, again, you know, 2 pros here in a fit model right now. So really, really good indicator for all of you watching, right? Like, this is where the pro divisions are going right now. This is where the pro fit model classes are, in fact, moving at this point in time. All right, let's take a look from the back, though. As I always say, we got to get in there. We got to take a look at the back. So some of the photos, as I've said before, you know, they don't always show in pose. So we just got to go with what the best we can do at those times. And that's what we're getting with a little bit here. But let's start with Emily. Okay, so Emily, from the back, you know, what you're really looking at here is just total symmetry. Okay, the perfect hourglass type package. The physique, I don't really like the term package, but perfect hourglass physique is going to be what you're really looking for. So, you know, you want to see just a little bit of that shape from the shoulders, not a lot. Of good taper here, again, that is going to be noted. And then lower body-wise, what you're looking for is good symmetry, harmony through the glutes, the quads, and the hamstrings, right? So good grouping all to match together there. Nothing is over-dominant, nothing's overdone. She really does accentuate that well. Now notice, no tie-ins, folks, no visible tie-ins on Emily, the overall winner at this event, pro card winner at this event. She does not have hard visible tie-ins whatsoever. And, you know, that is stated in the official rules. We've seen a lot of variances in physiques. Some athletes maybe bringing more tie-ins, some not. And, you know, judges continue to refine their look more and more and more to exactly what they want, which is definitely no tie-ins. So bring a softer posterior chain, softer glutes, softer hamstrings, more fullness in fit model right now is what is winning across the board, okay? So we will see how this continues to play out. More pro qualifiers coming up. But for now, for the sake of this competition and what we're talking about, this is what's happening, right? All right, Catherine here. Good shoulder shape from the back. Not a lot. That's what you want. You don't want too much shoulder. If you're seeing big delts here, okay, you got too much shoulders for this division. It's not going to favor you well, right? Great taper into the midsection here. Lower body-wise, what is different, right? We can see good shape overall, hamstrings, glutes, everything's there. What is different is the development. So not as much glute fullness, not as much of that upper glute, overall glute development as Emily here, not as much from the quads either or the hamstrings. So judges, again, really kind of going into the filled out look, the fuller physique for fit model right now, the old original bikini look, right? And then again, that is exactly what it is for. So Daniella here, we don't have her in her direct pose, but we can still assess from this. So basically what we got is, shoulder shape here, tapers in, and that's all good. Lower body wise, you can tell, she's very symmetrical. A lot of symmetry into the quads and the glutes and the hamstrings. Everything just ties in really well. Now, a lot of you might be watching saying, oh, that's a tie-in. This is not a tie-in, folks. It's not the way judges look at a tie-in and think that's a tie-in. That's just some separation. And, depending on genetics and how much your muscle is hypertrophied, you may have that. Also, your condition. She did appear tad leaner from the front than Emily, right? So maybe that just a little bit tighter condition does pull that through. But again, this is not a strict tie-in compared to what judges consider a tie-in. Keep in mind, the judges at the table here, they're not just fit model judges, right? They judge like bikini, wellness, figure, all the women's divisions. And with that, to them, a tie-in looks like bikini Olympia, wellness Olympia winners, that very hard three-dimensional tie-in. This is not where they're considering a tie-in here. So even though you may appear that in some lineups, and I know we talk about that, it's not the major case here, okay? By the way, folks, if you are trying to figure this new division out, you don't know where to go, I strongly suggest you go check out my free coaching trial here, right? You can do it, teamfflex.com/7-day trial. Go put that in. You get to train with me free one-on-one for 7 days. I'll show you how to train. I'll build some workouts for you. I'll give you feedback on your physique. Whatever it is you want to do, that's what I'm there for. You can ask me any questions anytime. I'm your coach, literally free for 7 days. You don't pay money at the end of it. It's not an auto charge thing. We don't do that. I don't believe in that. I'm just trying to give you better insight, more help. So if I can do that, that's the best place to do it. If you enjoy the channel, you'll definitely like that a lot more. All right, so one more athlete we got to talk about in this group, Class D Open winner. She is Rebecca, and she won the Class D division class here, in other words, for fit model, okay? So she has a little bit of that same shape going on here, which all of our fit model competitors, honestly, these days get much more consistent. I'm liking the way things are moving. Divisions are getting a lot more consistent of a look right now going on. It's becoming more predictable. If you like that, drop it in the comments. Like, do you like the direction of fit model, where things are going? This is a good look, right? Let me know. Or if you don't like it still, I know a lot of people didn't like it. Comment that as well. I want to know. I want to hear your opinions. Looking here, good shoulder shape, tapers into the waist pretty well. Lower body development is all here. Good fullness in the lower body. Very symmetrical look, very good quality physique here. And again, keep in mind, everybody we're looking at won the class. She doesn't win the pro card, and it could be, honestly, because maybe a little bit too lean. Like there is a little bit more oblique cut here, a little bit more, of the serratus, the ribs coming through, things like that. And, she doesn't have as much fullness in the quads either. Like Emily's lower body is very full. She has a very filled out look in the lower body. And, again, that's just being favored right now a lot in wellness. Not wellness. I said wellness because it's almost a wellness look, right? The fit model division, I've said that actually about some of the events. It's starting to look like amateur wellness in the beginning, right? Because the lower body, it's just so filled out. It's almost like a wellness amateur look in some ways, where that is what's winning on stage right now. So a symmetrical, more wellness, even fit model is what we're seeing play out in some ways, right? So interesting that I even fumbled that just based on what's been going on stage. All right, looking from the back here, for Rebecca, like I said, not as much of a filled out look. We do see that here as well, so not as much quad sweep from the outside. Overall, glutes, hamstrings, nothing's really matching at that same capacity to the size that's going on here for Emily, right? So again, size, symmetry, development, that's what's really going to win. However, all these athletes won their class, great examples of fit model. And this is where it is going right now. It is ultimately going to, a more consistent look. Fit model's looking more and more predictable. It's looking more and more streamlined, more and more, like you could say, okay, we're getting a good idea here of where things are going. And, to me, that's looking like a very filled out, full physique that is dialed in. Conditioning is right, but a lot of muscle, a lot of shape, almost a wellness-esque lower body look with some of the winners as of late, right? And I'm not saying Emily has that, but she definitely has a lot of fullness in the lower body. And some other events I've been looking at and will review actually on this channel, they do have a very dominant lower body look. So overall, this is where we're at. This is where we're heading. I think that it's a very good look for fit model overall. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. What is your favorite look out of these groups? And if you want more fit model content, comment that as well, because I'll bring that to the channel. All right. Thank you for watching. Coach Ryan is out.